Thank you. Thank you very much. Like I said, welcome. Welcome to a live listening party for our new record. Now, been a long time since we've been back in Toronto, right? It's over 3 years now. It's really good to be back. I couldn't think of a better place that I wanted to be than with a bunch of my family and friends that we invited to this little shindig. So, thank you for coming. Anyway, there's some stories I'm going to tell you tonight, give you some insight. Now, I know the record's not even out yet, but it's a lot to ask of you to listen to 15 songs that you're not that familiar with. So let's start it off by saying I've given a playbook to everybody in every seat that'll contain all the lyrics. And the stories that I want to tell you are our stories, but they're also your stories. The album title, This House Is Not For Sale, comes from a photograph. You ever hear that old saying, every picture tells a story? Well, I was thumbing through a magazine, and this one jumped off the page at me. It was done in 1982 by a guy named Jerry Ulisman, way before Photoshop and the internet. So he had to actually create this art. And I saw this picture, and it spoke to me. I said, this is a very proud house with deep roots. It was in tatters. It obviously had a story all of its own. But I looked at that and I thought to myself, I get it. This house is not for sale. And it became the foundation of this record. If you listen to the first line of the first verse, it says, these four walls have got a story to tell. And that's the four founding members of the band. And so that was the foundation for everything that I was about to talk about. It goes on to talk about this heart, this soul, this house is not for sale. Because our integrity was called into question, I was at a crossroad and I had to say to myself, I had to ask myself if the legacy was worth fighting for. Was the future still bright? Did we still have something to say? The bridge in the song comes out and says, no wrecking ball could knock it down because this house was built on higher ground. And the story that I tell in that song is not just mine. And it's not even just ours. We built this house together. You, just as much as anybody up here on this stage. Many of you have been along for the ride since the Elma combo in 1984. And every other venue that's ever been in this town, Bon Jovi has played at. So the CNE, the Molson Amphitheater, the old Maple Leaf Gardens, nobody has played the Air Canada Center more than Bon Jovi. You can see it at the Rogers Center. So when I say we, I mean it. Now, the next song, Living with the Ghost. When we write these songs, they come from a personal place. Sometimes I don't even know where they come from. But they mean so much in and of the moment. And this one, for example, is very near and dear to me. And I wrote this one, even the bridge. I was having this dream one night. I saw this man wash his feet in the church holy water. He worked up to his knees. From his arms to his neck, he said, I'm in over my head. And he was crying, trying to get some relief. Lord, I'm just trying to get some relief. I had this dream. That man was me. I rolled over and I wrote that all out. I woke up in the morning and there it was. So the beautiful thing about the song, through all the pain, was that once people started to hear it, they started to make these songs their own. And these stories are no longer mine or ours, but they become your individual story. People say, no, I'm not living with him anymore. I'm not living with her anymore. I'm not living with doubt anymore. I'm not living with fear or shame anymore. And then these pictures started to get posted in the social media world. And I think what's amazing to me, think back when we created Living on a Prayer and Tommy and Gina, that was fiction. But not to you guys. 30 plus years ago, you looked at me and said, no, Tommy and Gina, that's me. When I said Frankie said I did it my way, I was talking about Frank Sinatra. And you said, no, no, no. Frankie is me. That's my brother. That's my buddy. These songs are bigger than any of us. They're bigger than me. They're bigger than the band. They belong to all of us. So that's the story of those first couple. Let me move on. I got a lot more to talk about, a lot more to sing about. This will probably be the second single, I'm not sure. But let's just say that it was written from the perspective of an 18-year-old kid walked in the room with a chip on his shoulder. This one's called Knockout.